did you see after you watched film that you felt good about and that you didn't feel so good about?
Yeah, once again, effort was there, just way too many mental mistakes. But that's a good team. After watching the film, they are a good team, and we needed to play a good game to win it, and we didn't play our best game, but you got to give them credit.
What about specifically with Davis?
Yeah, he probably had 3 throws that you can't make in that game, and he knows that. When you throw it 70 times with a true freshman, you're going to get some of those. But I thought, once again, he had some adverse situations, some stuff in his face, and hung in there and made a lot of plays. So he'll get better. He'll learn from it.
Have you noticed maybe a common thread in these last couple of games and the slow starts against Oklahoma and now against Oklahoma State?
Yeah, just got to start faster against really good teams like that, especially in this conference. They'll get out and run away from you. And I was proud of our effort battling back in that first half, but you can't get yourself in that type of hole against a team like that.
When they came out, as you said, flat in the second half, is that because they had to expend so much to catch up in the first half?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It just we were rolling there pretty good and went to halftime and came back out and we're flat again. And defense got a big stop, and offensively we went out there and went 3 and out when they had an opportunity to take the lead. So just couldn't keep a steady flow the entire game.
After seeing the game film, do you plan on making any changes to the rush defense?
We'll see. It's a completely different offense we're facing this week with a great running attack, a quarterback that can run, really good running back. So we're going to have to shore up the run defense somehow.
Kliff, what do you see as your main issues with the run defense?
You know, I feel like there were some missed tackles, and after talking to the defensive staff, they had some calls on that weren't made, missed assignments, people trying to do too much, and so just got to get back to fundamentals and just doing your job, not trying to hit a home run on every play.
You feel like Davis was doing that a little bit too, that it was almost like maybe if I throw a perfect enough pass, we can get 2 touchdowns out of one score?
Yeah, I think he was pressing a bit when we got down, but that comes with the territory, and he'll learn from that. And it was a good defense and made a lot of big-time throws throughout the night. Just had a couple we wish he had back.
In the past couple of weeks, you've used a few gimmicks to motivate the team. Do you think that those may have backfired?
I don't. No, I don't.
Coach, you don't typically see a defensive lineman getting pump blocks, but it's good to see Kerry Hyder be able to do something like that.
Yeah, it's great to see Kerry. That just shows what type of effort he never takes a play off, whether it's special teams or during the game, and that's a great lesson for our younger guys to see, that a guy like that plays every snap with that type of effort and energy.
What is the state of mind of the locker room? I mean, are they sort of down? Have you talked to them about how these teams are showing you what you've got to work on?
Yeah, I don't think we're down. I think you learn from each loss, and said it along, we haven't played our best game, and I think that's what keeps this group excited, is when we do put it all together, we can be pretty good. And senior day coming up helps, because we want to send those guys out on the right foot, and it'll be a motivated group come Saturday.
Davis going to start on Saturday?
He will.
Sands, when most of his effective passing plays, he seems to have a really good fake and then act like he's going to run. How do you plan to stop that?
That's tough. You got to play assignment football, but they do a really good job with their pop passes, their play action, and they have great receivers outside that can really run. So we're going to have to be great with our eye control and be very disciplined.
Jakeem said after the game on Saturday that it was kind of a loss of focus. Did you see that when you looked at the film, or was that just maybe something said after the game in frustration?
Yeah, I think so. There were some unusual mental errors that we made, and I don't know if we were too hyped up or trying too hard in certain positions, but if everybody's just got to do their job and not try to do too much.
You talk about the uniforms and the cause and everything kind of surrounding this game.
Yeah, the Lone Survivor, we were very honored to be a part of that, the story behind it, and they selected us to do it, which is a huge honor. Our players will know all about it going into the game, and yeah, I mean, that should be plenty of motivation to go out there wearing that and play really hard for that cause.
Coach, can you talk about your dad a little bit? He'll be among those that will be honored before the game as a Purple Heart recipient.
Yeah, that's a huge honor. That's something I've always been very proud of. You know, he's a Marine and a Purple Heart recipient and a Vietnam vet, and that's something I've always been very proud of. And so it'll be great to have him here be a part of that.
How much did he tell you stories about his experiences when he
Yeah, not much. He's pretty tight-lipped when it comes to that stuff. But just hearing it secondhand, he's seen some pretty intense stuff.
Cliff, I know you've addressed it, of course, several times this year. How guys bought into you and your staff, but can you address that from the standpoint of the seniors, kind of what they have meant to a new coach getting a program off the ground?
Yeah, it's been incredible the way those guys have helped out, and a lot of them we're the third staff they've had, and guys like Kerry Hyatt or Eric Ward, you see the effort that they're playing with, and they didn't have to buy in. I mean, they didn't sign up to play for us, and when younger guys see the effort they're giving to this staff and this university, it's really helped ease our transition.
What can we expect? I'm sorry.
I was going to say, some of those seniors are all on the walking list right now, as far as Dartwan and Trey and Terrence. What does it look like for them?
Yeah, they'll all three be game time decisions. They all kind of have nagging stuff that we're working through today, and it won't be till game time till we see if they can go full go.
Can you tell us what exactly happened with Trey?
Yeah, just re-aggravated an ankle injury.
What sort of offensive attack, without getting specific, of course, do you plan to implement Saturday? Are you going to, I know you've said all season, you know, we're going to go with what they give us. And did you do that Saturday night, and is that the plan still going forward?
Yeah, Saturday was a little different because we got off to a slow start and we're chasing, you know, down 21-0. So we got off the game plan a little bit, but hopefully we can stay within it. And once again, if we're running the ball well, we'll do that a ton, and if we can't, we'll start throwing it.
And early on, the clip of the offense seemed to be a lot quicker than it is now. Is that something that you've sort of backed off on, or?
Yeah, we've really adapted to our personnel and what we're good at. And so we probably aren't pushing the tempo as fast as we did early. And a lot of that has to do with our competition, the type of athletes they have.
You were a player, and Bill Snyder was still a coach. Can you talk about game planning against him as a player as opposed to a coach?
Yeah, he's one of the greatest stories in college football history when you look at what he's done there 2 times, and just so well respected in our profession. As a player, you always knew his teams were going to be highly motivated and very disciplined, and same dealing with him as a coach. You have to come prepared and make sure you have your best game plan ready.
Do you think a lot's been made about Jace not being a candidate for the John Matthew Award? Can he be a candidate for the Bolton-Costa Award?
I mean, with his stats, I don't know where he fits in, but he has some pretty good stats, and you know, if you watch the games firsthand, it's pretty impressive what he's doing with, you know, a young quarterback who's still figuring it out. So I don't really pay much attention to those awards, but I'd figure he'd be up for something.
With Coach Snyder and the Wildcats coming in like to run the ball, do you kind of issue the challenge to your defense that people have seen this on tape, now you got to go out and prove that you can stop it?
Yeah, they know. You know, if you're watching that, you're going to hand it off every time until they stop it. And so they're going to know what's coming. And then, like we talked about earlier, K-State does a great job with their play-action game, so you still have to be disciplined. But I expect them to come in and try to enforce their will and run it all day.
How much of the struggles the last couple of weeks have been related to some of those guys that you're missing?
You know, that's tough when you lose seniors that have played a bunch, but you know, our young guys have to step up, and when they're put in a position to make plays, they have to make plays. So there's no excuses. It's just the next guy up. And in November in college football, that's part of the game. You're going to have attrition, and you just got to find ways to deal with it.
What is the toughest part about playing against Bill Snyder?
Just so you know, all 3 phases are going to be well coached, and they're not going to give you anything. It's going to be one of those games where you have to make the play and have to take it, because there won't be any cheap ones.
Is there conversation with you and players and coaches about how, yes, it's a far tougher battle to possibly win the Big 12 title, but that you're still in it? I mean, how are you framing that?
Yeah, just like I said, it helps this week having the senior day and last home game. We've talked about playing better at home over the past few years they've had here, and so that's a big goal. And then just small goals each and every week. We're trying to get better and trying to win that week.
And Coach, going into this last home game, kind of talk about how you feel towards this, up to this point of this season.
Yeah, had some ups and downs and still trying to find our best game. and got a lot of young guys contributing and getting better as it goes. But we got to get better fast, and hopefully put all three phases together one of these weeks.
Did it surprise you based on what practice was like last week of what happened on Saturday?
Yeah, I thought we'd come out with better energy, and like I said, I don't know if we were too fired up or whatnot, but we had plays to be made early and could have got out to a good start and just didn't make them. And so
is there something you look for in practice that kind of tells you if you're in trouble on Saturday, or do you know?
No, I don't look. We've had awful weeks of practice and played our best games and things of that nature. So each week it's different, and that's what happens when you're dealing with 18 to 22-year-old kids.
You said after the game that the supporting staff didn't do what they could have done. Were you talking about dropped balls? What were you?
No, just more. The guys that have played a bunch of football around here have to step up and be our best players when they're supposed to be. And I didn't feel like at certain times we did that. And when you have young guys, you got to step your game up and help them out.
Could you flash back and take us through your senior day and what you remember about it?
Yeah, just all the pageantry that goes along with it. You know, it's the last time. You spend a lot of years, a lot of tough practices with those guys, and it's just a great energy about that stadium to be with those guys for one last time.